All right, welcome everybody to the Fieldhouse for our 2017 National Signing Day press conference. We'll have head coach Colby Carthel here in just a second, the head coach of the three-time defending Lone Star Conference champion Lions. We'd like to thank everybody here who can ask him some questions. We'd also like to thank those of you who have joined us on Facebook Live for this great day for our football program. So with no further ado, I'll introduce our head football coach, Colby Carthel.
Thank you, Josh. Really exciting day, as every college coach in America will tell you. So everybody wins on signing day, and I think Lions have a chance to put a few more wins in the win column as well. Signed a good class, I think sitting at 49 right now, and got some guys from all over the state and every different position. Our goal every year is to go out and sign a two deep. That's kind of how we operate around here, and I think we were able to accomplish that and got some great football players, but more importantly, some great character people that are good students. I think over half this class was receiving some sort of academic scholarships, which is always good and helps the team GPA and means they're coming for the right reasons to hopefully graduate. But a lot of work goes into a class like this. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a year-round process, and that's one thing that we pride ourselves on is recruiting year-round and being relentless in those efforts. But a lot of other people to thank just that have a big hand in this. First and foremost, our academic staff and support here at Texas A&M Commerce, from the president on down. Dr. Keck was at several of our recruiting weekends, and that makes a huge impression on parents and prospects alike. When our kids want to meet with academic people on campus, we had anybody from the provost, deans of every single college available to meet one-on-one with these guys, a lot of times on a Saturday afternoon. A lot of professors and just people in the academic community that gave up a lot of their time to come up and just tell our story and talk to these kids about Texas A&M Commerce and what this school can do for them academically. So bottom line, that's what these young men have got to be making a decision for. Every program wins and every program loses, and college football is great, but you're here to get an education. And so hopefully most of these young men across the country today are choosing the school that best fits those chances for them to be successful and get that diploma. Our support staff here within the athletic department has been phenomenal. With our compliance department, been very, very active and busy last couple of days churning out paperwork. I want to thank our financial aid office, Director of Admissions, Jody Todhunter. They were there every week speaking with kids. And then our academic support with our James Thrower Academic Success Center. It's second to none. There's no other facility like it in the country. But what's even better about it is the people inside of it. And Victoria Kuslik and Judy Sackfield do a tremendous job. And I think that really swung several recruits our way just because of the academic support that is provided here with a best-in-class, that's our motto, best in class, and we try to be best in class in everything we do, and with academic support, we are the trendsetter in Division II right now. I want to thank Sodexo, the people in the cafeteria. Got a great group over there, and we feed our recruits there in our caf, and they did a tremendous job. And I know caused them to do a little bit of extra work with a bunch of guys coming in eating a lot of food, but appreciate them. Housing, Rec Sports with our campus tour, just campus partners all over the campus here that reached out and gave up their time to help us in these efforts, and really just the whole commerce community at whole. That's what sells is what is commerce about, and I know I encourage everybody to give it the Walmart test. Go to Walmart. In every town, every school you're thinking about attending, go to Walmart and look around and talk to the people there and see what kind of community you're really thinking about stepping into for the next 4 or 5 years. And that's what's awesome about Commerce, Texas, America, is the people. And they did a great job in terms of selling this place. So I want to thank our staff, several of them here today. Their relentless recruiting efforts year-round. It's a tiring, taxing job, and appreciate their efforts, and more importantly, I appreciate their families. A lot of hours, a lot of nights away from home and wives and families, so really appreciate them. And then special thanks also to Sweetie's Donuts for the Went through 9 dozen donuts this morning on signing date, so appreciate Tony down there, and apologize to the City of Commerce who tried to get donuts this morning. They were sold out, but we crushed them pretty good. And then the Metter Auto Group, boy howdy, they've made recruiting so much better for the Lions, and they're a great campus partner. And anybody that's buying a car in Commerce, Texas, better be buying it out there if you're a Lion fan, because they do a great job supporting us, and great people out there. So just a huge, long list, longer than our signing class, I believe, of people to thank, but just want to do that first and foremost before we really get to talking about the class, because there's so much work and a lot of hours and a lot of sacrifices that go into putting together a class like this, and so really appreciate all those that had a part in it. Class is, again, we're really excited about what we've put on paper, but again, it's just on paper. There's no wins involved today. Everybody wins on signing date, and what's more important is what those kids do once they get to school. Do they take care of business in the classroom, and how do they perform on the field? And so I always like to look back to the past, and we've been here long enough now we can do that. And our first signing class here, just right at 4 years ago, when we were considered maybe the worst program in the country, and for sure the worst program in the Lone Star Conference. That group that signed on with us there turned out to be a tremendous signing class, and we had 6 true seniors this year, and so hopefully, somewhere in this class you got some more Stephen Bakers and Darby Smiths and Traven Johnsons and Cameron Rogers and Lance Evans and Richard Coopers, guys like that, and they bought on and jumped on board with us back when we were terrible, and we didn't have all this best in class and all these great facilities and academic support, new weight room, and so they came in, and over the past 4 years have had the second winningest 4-year run in school history, and I think more importantly to us, they've been the most successful team, more wins than any other Lone Star Conference school over the past 4 years, and included in there is 3 outright Lone Star Conference championships and a big playoff win. So that's what that group did when they signed on with us 4 years ago. So the bar has been raised, the standard's higher, and we've got a lot of things going for us right now, one of the better teams in the country, and now we're bringing in another crop of Lions. So that's what's going to be very interesting and very fun. Some of you media guys may move on and be somewhere else in the big metroplexes or something, but we're going to be excited to sit here 4 years ago and talk about what this class did, how many wins they had, how many championships they won, and more importantly, how many of them got graduated. And so I want a special tip of my hat to Richard Whitaker, who was part of that original signing class 4 years ago, young man from Denton Ryan High School, and he graduated in 3.5 years, graduated this past December. And so he'll always hold a special place in my heart. First high school signee that we had that graduated in 3.5 years is saying something. So hats off to Richard. He'll be back for his senior year, toting the rock for the Lions. So anyway, in depth into this class, again, there's a lot of names on there that you're probably not familiar with, but I think a lot of really quality, good players. We were a little bit heavy on offense this year for a reason. That's kind of the way we do things, and it's our method behind the madness. But offensive line was a big key for us this spring, with our signing class, and I think we hit a home run with that group. And you win and you lose up front in college football, and that's where we've made some tremendous strides. Again, led the conference in offense, scoring offense this year. Threw the ball 437 times and only gave up 5 sacks. It starts and it ends up front, and so we've got a great group. Coach Ferris does a great job, and we are tickled to death with the quality men that have signed on with us up front in the O-line. Quarterback, we got 2 home runs there. I feel like we had both those guys in camp. We know them, and are really excited about what they do. We didn't take a quarterback last year because we had, Preston Wheeler and Chase Pemberton, lined up in the ranks. We're in really, really good shape on our roster, quarterback-wise. So this was a year to take quarterbacks, so we got 2 of them there with Gunnar Palacios and Mason Ray. So really excited about those guys. Got some great tailbacks coming in, plethora of receivers. A lot of them have some length and some speed, so it'll be fun to see who develops in that group. Defensively, it was a pretty uniform class all the way top to bottom, front 4 and with our linebackers and our back end. So I think there's going to be some really, really good players in that group. and then signed one specialist, Tristan Perry, Mineral Wells, quarterback / all-state punter. First time we've signed a punter, and first time we've had a punter on this campus that can throw a football. And that's a shot to you guys out there, Hector and Chase and the rest of you yahoos that never could complete a pass on a fake punt. So we've got us a punter now that hopefully can complete a pass when called upon. And we're really excited about him. First time in my career we've had a guy that, you know, came in and early enrolled. And Tristan, really smart young man out of Mineral Wells and graduated early. And so we're like the big boys now, coming in and enroll them in January. So that was a lot of fun. But just a great class, I feel like. I know I'm probably getting long-winded, but we're excited about it. And a lot of hard work goes into it, and just tickled to death with the guys we have. So anyway, I'll kind of shut up for a minute and let you guys have some questions or anything like that. Open up the floor.
Coach, you mentioned offensive line being a top priority. Were there any other holes you maybe felt you needed to fill?
You know, I think just depth overall is, and that is our goal. But last year we were pretty heavy on the defensive line. This year it was going to be a big push with our offensive line, and I think we were able to counterbalance that. And everybody's got a different, you know, way to do things. Different strokes for different folks, whatever part your hair. Some guys sign a ton of junior college guys. Some guys sign big classes, some small classes, some local, some across a bunch of states. This is what works for us, and we've got a set of standards that we're looking for, and we vet these guys. We see them in the summers, we see them in the fall, and you know, we check out their backgrounds and their academics, and you've got to check all the boxes, and then we recruit from there, and then we just take the ones that want us. I mean, not everybody. A&M Commerce isn't for everybody, and we understand that. We want the guys that want to be here for the right reasons. If they're coming because we're the back-to-back-to-back conference champion, they're coming for the wrong reason. They better be coming because it's the best chance they've got to get a college education in a place, an environment they're going to be comfortable in to be successful over the next 4 to 5 years.
Coach, talk a little bit about your team has won the last 3 Lone Star Conference championships. You've been to the playoffs, won a playoff game. Talk about how you think this class can really take you even farther than that.
Well, I think that kind of goes back to the comparison to our signing class in 2013, and all that you just talked about were things that they were able to accomplish, and we started at the bottom, at the floor, and now we've got a lot of things going for us that maybe we didn't back then. We've got a lot of momentum, and so you know where we're starting from is so much higher, and so if those guys come in and achieve, I think you're going to see some great things, and I've been very vocal about it. I think our best days are still ahead of us. It's been a lot of fun the last 3 or 4 years, but I wholeheartedly believe that our best days are ahead of us. We set a school record for wins this past year, and that's, you know, kind of the standard. I expect it to be better than that each and every year moving forward because of what we have behind us now, and also because of a certain Josh Stoner. We've got what I consider the very best coach of any sport in the Lone Star Conference in our Director of Sport Performance, Joshua Stoner. He's been with our program for about 7 months now, and so I am really, really excited. I wish I could push a button and be here in 2020 and be talking to you about what these guys were able to do going through his program, off-season, summer training, in-season conditioning, because he is the very, very best at his craft, and good times are ahead for Lions football.
Coach, social media kind of gives you an idea of a kid's intentions. Last night, you know, the night before signing day, did you go to sleep thinking, man, I got pretty much in the bag who I wanted, or did you wake up this morning kind of scrambling at all, thinking I really got to close the deal on anybody?
You know, it's recruiting's it's an interesting concept, and these kids, you know, you empower a bunch of these 17 and 18-year-olds, and you see the guy on TV today taking off 4 or 5 shirts, and you know, recruiting's brutal in the Lone Star Conference as it is. A lot of good programs and a lot of very successful and good recruiters across the league, and so but thankfully that hadn't, you know, gotten down to our level, and guys I think are still making the decisions for the right reasons. But social media does have a big effect on recruiting. You know, in our case, there's a lot of times that we're recruiting a kid and nobody's on him, and he has no offers, and we bring him up and we make him an offer, and then, by Tuesday, the guy's got 6 offers, and that's just, there's guys that recruit off of social media, and that's fine. I would be amiss to say we don't do the same thing. But there at the end, there's a lot of dominoes that fall, and in the last 4 days, we were able to pick up several kids that held multiple Division I offers that for whatever reasons, kind of fell through. Dante Howell, he's a, kid on there that I think on one we saw on the internet just a little bit ago, he's ranked the 23rd best signee in the Southland Conference, supposed to sign with Central Arkansas. Well, he signed with us today. And so it's funny how those things happen. You win some and you lose some, but I really don't think it's a competition. It's more those kids choosing where they want to go. I was disappointed we got beat by Jim Harbaugh in Michigan on a kid. So Alan Weingard played here. His son was a prep superstar and out in Florida, and we were recruiting hard on him, and he signed with Michigan, not the Lions. So I guess we weren't drinking enough whole milk around here, but that's how we recruit and shoot for the stars, and you'll land a few of them. So it was a fun process. Social media is interesting in the way it does affect the recruiting process nowadays.
Coach, how do you feel like your team did in recruiting in different parts of the state? Do you feel like there's an area where you got a really good group of guys and another area where you feel like maybe you would have liked to hit that area more, like farther out from just Commerce, Texas?
We've got the state broke up into 14 different areas, and I think we do a pretty good job of scouring the whole state. We've got players coming from just about every region. We did not sign someone from El Paso this year. But other than that, I think just about every region we have a representative or multiple. We did, I think, a tremendous job again right here within a 250-mile radius. We want to win close to home in East Texas and the Metroplex, and we're able to do that. We were able to sneak up there into the Texas Panhandle and sign the Three Stooges, old Larry Moe and Curly up there from Canyon High and River Road. But those are three really, and I call them that because that's what I've been teasing them all through recruiting. But two really good players at Canyon High and one at Amarillo River Road at tight end. So those guys were very highly recruited around our conference. And then, Coach DG and Coach May and Coach Jordan did a great job in the Houston area. Coach Gallegos crushed San Antonio, another big haul down there. Coach Fannin, Coach Ferris did a tremendous job there in the Syntex area. So I think we were well represented across the state and have a good blend within our signing class.
Did you look at any players from out of the state, or Texas has got enough talent you don't need a look?
We pride ourselves on recruiting Texas high school football players for our high school signing classes. If we need a transfer, we'll go coast to coast and around the globe to find the very best transfer out there. But as you guys have seen, we've gotten less and less dependent on transfers. We didn't even sign a single transfer at semester this year because we're getting our high school classes grown up, and that's what's encouraging and really fun, and I think gives us a chance to push this program a little farther all the way to the top.
Does it help recruiting at the success of the program? Are the recruits aware of what the Lions have been doing for the last 3 seasons?
No doubt, and I've got to give credit to I didn't mention them, dadgummit, our sports information department. Those guys, Josh Mank and company, do a great job, just getting our message out there. He does a good job. Carson Lands, our graphic guy, and he crushes graphics. We've got the best graphics. We got better graphics than a lot of Division I programs, and you go on social media and look at that. It's fun. That gives us an edge, and because kids are into that. It's a little bit, maybe a little bit old school, but heck, if it helps us in recruiting, we're going to do it. But no, I think I think we've got a great class put together, and they know our story out there. And so if we could have signed 150, but you got to cut it off somewhere, and there's not enough room on the paper to print that many, so we shut her down there about half 100.
Yeah, Coach, I know you're excited about all the people that you've signed today. Is there any couple of guys that you're really fired up about getting to come to Texas A&M Commerce?
You betcha. There's several on there that are going to go to class and get their degree and be good citizens and be tremendous all-conference football players and help us win a bunch of playoff games and take this thing to the top. I'm excited about those, and it'll be interesting to see which ones they are. Right now there's have 100 names on there, and in due time in Division II, it's partial scholarships. You have, classes that don't always stay together, and it's that way at every single school. Whether you sign 15 kids or you sign 50, your classes are, there's matriculation that happens. I think that's the right word in Division II because of partial scholarships, and so I'm anxious to see those guys who want to be champions on and off the field and see where they're at 4 or 5 years from now. And I'm excited for the guys that don't make it. I walk around campus today, and you can go in the cafeteria, and I can point out, a bunch of guys that came here to play football that are no longer on the team. For whatever reason, life happens, and college football isn't what they thought it was on signing date in 2014 or 15. But they're still here in school. They're still getting a degree, and that's what this thing's all about is, college football is the vehicle that these kids drive to get to a place where they can be successful. And so it's awesome for us so we don't get fired if they're very, very good football players, but it's awesome for them to see them be successful in the classroom and get that degree.
Coach, when you're looking at more than one guy from the same high school and that first guy signs on, how much easier is it then to get the second or maybe the third? There's on here more than a couple of the same high schools listed more than once.
You bet. Misery loves company, so hopefully it's not misery, but it does help. And you also see, and we've been, pretty thorough throughout the state throughout our 4 years here. And so whether they've got a teammate coming this year, a lot of them have teammates that are already here or guys they played against or that are from their hometown or their region that are here. And that's what sells the place more than anything. Across the country you got coaches doing the song and dance and recruiting and, roll out the red carpet. Here, this place is great. And, players have got to learn to, filter through that and find out what is really real in recruiting. And that's where, your current student athletes and the current students on campus, that's who sells places better than anything. And so there are a lot of common threads within this class and, guys that have connections to players currently on the roster.
With everything in such a great mood today, great kickoff to the spring, talk a little bit about what's ahead for the Lions the rest of this semester.
You bet. Well, we've already, we started pretty well Monday working on next year's class, so it's a never-ending process. But as we move forward, into the spring, we'll have spring ball starting. I believe February 15th is the first day you're allowed per NCAA rules to start spring ball, and we'll be kicking off out here about 7 a.m. that morning, so we'll get things rocking and rolling. Got our spring game on March the 4th. It'll be the Blue and Gold annual Blue and Gold spring game. It'll be at 10 a.m. We'll have a lot of stuff going on in conjunction with that game, and then we'll hit the ground running with some spring recruiting there towards the end of April, and put together good work this summer, and hopefully be ready to hit the field and put out a good product and be successful come next fall. We've got everybody gunning for us, and that's that's okay. We'll be ready and anxious to see what this next group of Lions can accomplish in 2017.
All right, Coach. I think we're good. Any closing comments to wrap this thing up?
I appreciate everybody coming out, and again appreciate all the help across the university and this community. This is a team effort, has been for the past 4 years, and it's really a fun place to be because of the people that are here in Commerce and at Texas A&M University Commerce. So thanks so much to all our campus partners and community for helping provide these young men a best-in-class experience. And we had us a big day today, so appreciate everybody, and go Lions. Thank you.